This is Bob Scott, Superintendent of Avon Lake City Schools. Thank you all for watching the video today. I want to start off, of course, first by thanking everybody. This has been such a difficult time for everybody. It's hard to believe that we started school August 31st. We're now sitting here December 16th.
December 16th.
We're still in person and still online. Everybody is doing great. But really the only reason that is happening is because, the patience of our parents, the hard work of our kids, the great staff we have that are making the efforts, and that's from teachers all the way down to our custodians and bus drivers who are making this work every day. So I really need to say thank you for everybody, because it is us together that is keeping this going. And it's difficult. We know there's a lot of concern. We know that every day when we come here, that the kids are getting what they need to get right now, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but we're going to continue forward. One of the questions we've had is that, are we going to have school on the 21st and 22nd? And, as of Wednesday, the 16th, yes, we are. They're scheduled school days. We need to get our days in and make sure our kids get everything they need to get. The only thing that would change that, of course, is as we've had in the past, if we have issues in a school, whether it's staffing or whether it's with kids, we, of course, would close those schools. But, closing the district for those 2 days, we feel like we need to get here and continue our education with our kids.
Absolutely. I think we've made good progress, and everyone's cooperation has really been so helpful and so appreciated, and we're just continuing to move forward.
And I think the next piece, the other question that we get asked a lot is what's going to happen after winter break. And from the very beginning, we've talked about trying to look out into the future and say, at some point, do we need to take a break? Do we need to have a week off? Do we need to have 2 weeks off? And as we talk with the healthcare professionals, they look at us and say, if you had a crystal ball and you knew there was going to be a spike incident, if you knew there was going to be a spread incident, then you probably need to take that time off. But we haven't seen that, and we don't know if that's going to happen or not. Right now we're just after the Thanksgiving break, and of course there was a lot of worry that there would be a spike or a big spread incident from Thanksgiving, and that really hasn't happened. We're in a really difficult time right now because there are a lot of cases. The hospitals are having difficulty with hospitalizations and people in the ICUs. But here at school, we do have cases, but they're spread out. We still have really, really low counts. Jack's going to go over that in a second. But we're going to watch over winter break, and we're going to watch the numbers. And of course, it's the same thing. As we talk with our healthcare professionals, as we look at the data, if we need a school to stop for a while, we're going to do that. And we'll communicate that to you just as soon as we possibly can. But sitting here on December 16th, we're not going to call school off on January 4th right now. We're going to come back after winter break if at all possible.
Absolutely. And the key is just be prepared for anything, because we can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but we certainly look at the numbers every single day and look at all the case numbers, staffing issues, all of that, and those are the things that we take into account when we make decisions.
And we'll keep working over break, making sure that we have the mitigation pieces in place, and anything that we can do to even improve that for when we come back, we're going to do. Again, we have to ask for your help. Be careful, be safe. Make sure that you're looking at everything that's being talked about in order to make sure that we don't have spike or spread incidences. It's hard. It's hard for all of us to reduce our big Christmas gatherings. Over Thanksgiving, it was interesting in our house because the Scott and Weber families are huge. My wife has 8 brothers and sisters, and I have 4. I don't know if I've ever been at a Thanksgiving that didn't have 30 to 40 to 50 people at it. And we had to cook for 3, as our household is now, my wife, my son, and myself. So it was a little different, and it's hard. But we really need to keep doing that when we go through Christmas. We want you to be with family. We want everybody to have fun. But we also need you to be very, very careful, because we want to have school when we come back. And we can control what goes on in the school. What always gets us, and as we look at the quarantines and the number of positive cases, we're not seeing that spread inside the school. What we're seeing is that coming from outside the school and affecting what goes on inside the school.
And I know it's been a long road, but we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we've probably seen on the news the vaccine rollout has started and will be going in full force in January, February, March, April. Hopefully by the end of the school year, things will be a lot closer to normal, but we just need everyone's cooperation a little bit longer. I mean, we've come this far, and who would have thought back in March that we would still be dealing with this December 16th, but looks like it'll be a few more months.
And the other side of this is the positive piece is in August, in September, I'm not sure that many people would have believed that we would have been able to be in school 5 days a week still in the middle of December. You know, and that is a credit to everybody that's worked so hard to get this done. And I'm going to say one more time, the vast majority of this comes on the effort of our students, that they want to be here in school and they do the things they need to do every day to make sure that we can come back to school tomorrow. And their parents. Thank you to all of you again.
Absolutely.
So you have a little data for us?
Sure. So a couple of things. We started putting on the Avon Lake City Schools website, on our COVID webpage, the daily dashboard that I send to the health department in the state. And just a little information I shared with the board last week. Back in July, before we started, we had 148 hits on that page. And right before school started August, there were 1,500 visits to that page. It died down a little in September, picked up in October as the cases started increasing, and then November, we had 3,188. And just the first week of December, we had over 500. So we're probably on a par to certainly pass that. But there's a lot of great information on the COVID webpage. Just go to the home page and click the COVID tab. So this semester, we have in person 3,150 students, and we have about another 700 online. And we have about 400 staff that are here every day. And as of yesterday, we have had 69 positive student cases, which represents 2.1% of our student body. We've had 38 staff positives, which is about 9% of our staff. And a lot of you probably sitting out there have heard or know people that have been quarantined for various reasons. To date, we've had 639 students quarantined. I will tell you that some of you have been quarantined 2 or 3 times, and you actually counted 2 or 3 times. I didn't actually go in and manually count and make sure you weren't on that list twice. Right now, currently across the district, we have 155 students under quarantine right now.
You know, and I think from the very beginning, that was probably the biggest shock to us. You know, when we had our original plan, we had things in place that we knew what we were going to do if we had positive cases. You know, we knew how we were going to do the tracing, especially as we've gone through the last 2, 3, 4 weeks when there's really been an increase in cases out there in the community. That number of kids being quarantined, you know, having to stay home for the 14 days, and staff members having to be quarantined. That's been a huge issue for us.
That is actually the quarantines. Between positive cases and quarantines is what caused Troy to be down for those 4 weeks. And the number of positive cases and the quarantines at the high school is, for the students, is why the high school was down for a couple of weeks. We've seen the quarantines pick back up again in the last week or so, but luckily we're close enough to winter break that hopefully everyone will be able to get over their quarantine before coming back, and we won't have a lot of new quarantines, hopefully.
I think that's good.
And you know, another thing that we were asked a lot, speaking of quarantines, is there was something in the news a couple weeks ago about CDC changing the quarantine timeline. But basically what we got from the Ohio Department of Health and Lorain County has reaffirmed is for students, the 14-day quarantine is still in effect. The change really was geared towards essential workers and being able to staff hospitals. But what we have from Lorain County Health as of now, and everything can change, but a student quarantine is still 14 days from exposure or 10 days from the date of a positive test.
And teachers are considered an essential worker. So they do get to work under the new guidelines.
Right. last thing I have on the COVID side is received quite a few questions, and we put this on our school district website last week. But there is a reminder that there are, right now there's I think 17 states or so. They update it every Wednesday, so I would just look before we came down here. It's not updated yet. But if you are traveling to a state that is on Ohio's travel advisory list, not traveling through the state. So I had a parent call me yesterday and said, hey, we're going to New York, which isn't on the list, but we have to drive through Pennsylvania. Do we have to quarantine for driving through Pennsylvania? And I said, no, it's where you're going and you're spending your time. But if you do go to one of those states that have the positivity rate above 15%, students or staff, that will be a 14-day quarantine from when you return. So as you're planning your travel, please think about how that will impact when your child will be able to return to school if you happen to travel to one of those states.
Well, Mr. Deeby, as you said, as Jack was talking, Dr. Deeby was talking, we discuss a lot and we come back and COVID is always the main topic. But I think as we end this, we want to make sure that everybody does have a really good holiday. It's been hard work. Enjoy your families, enjoy your time off. And remember that even though the umbrella of what we've been living under, the clouds that we've been living under is the COVID crisis, we have lots and lots of great things that are going on every day. I'm in the buildings, I'm watching the kids, I'm watching the young men and women up here at the high school, and good things are going on. Kids are enjoying their education, they're enjoying being here, and we're doing it as risk-free as possible.
Yeah, just yesterday, Mrs. Springer's second grade virtual class, they were making snow virtually. I tweeted out some pictures. Our robotics team last night, they were in Elyria, and I found out one of our groups is ranked right now 18th in Ohio under skills from the robotics.
Excellent.
I went to that. That was a lot of fun. We just had Alex Padgett just signed his national letter of intent this morning.
Correct. Bowling Green.
Bowling
Excellent.
Green.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have a lot of great things going on. And so, Mr. Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but right here, speaking of the holidays, is a little naughty or nice meter.
Oh.
So you have to hold it with two thumbs, and it'll tell you whether or not you've been naughty or nice. And I think snow days may have something to do with this. Let's see. Waiting for the sound. He got nice. Very good. So Mr. Scott is very nice. You win a candy cane for that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I was hoping on that.
All right. No pressure there, but
I know. That's on camera.
you're right.
What's this?
So this is a penguin that somebody gave to me a few years ago back when I was a principal in Elyria, and he's been on my desk around my office ever since I had him. And he has some cousins that I gave Mr. May, our high school principal, for his office. But if you press him, everybody needs to have a rapping penguin for the holidays.
And with that, we'll say one more time, have a great holiday. And again, thank you for everything you're doing. Hang in there. We're going to get through this together. We still have some time. The vaccines are coming out. We'll find out, every week we'll find out when it's going to come, when our staff is going to get vaccines, when the kids will be able, young men and women will be able to get vaccines. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. But we still have a couple of hard months here where we need to really, really stay after it. Again, thank you for everything you're doing for the schools and for our students.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Happy holidays.